what is the point of LinkedIn? Why am I here? Do I really need to link to people? Do I not need to link to people? And if you're not actually having conversations with people and you're just connecting, then you're not really getting the real use out of LinkedIn, okay? So that's the point of this video, besides to just wake you up and get some humor for the morning. So the value of LinkedIn, it's only as valuable as you make it. You need to connect to people in the know, employers, professionals, people who you know, share information with one another and using online applications as well as participating in group discussions. So how many of you belong to groups on LinkedIn? Groups? You guys are you discussing using the groups? So if you're not discussing using some of these groups, you're not participating in the conversation. So LinkedIn is your online Rolodex. That's really how I would look at it. And every time you meet someone, after you meet them, you can send them a LinkedIn invitation and say, okay, it was great meeting you at this event. I learned this and this. It would be great if we could connect on LinkedIn. And why do this? Why does it matter? Why have this instead of just a business card? Well, the reason is because people move around now. People aren't in the same places all the time. And so you'll have this business card, and then what will happen? They'll be at another company. They're not going to be there anymore. People are moving. Every 3 or 4 years, people are moving to new jobs. So this is a way that you can stay in contact with people. Also, the people that you're taking classes with. They're not going to be moving around. They're going to be getting new jobs. And then you want to apply to a job, and you find out that someone who you went to school with actually now works there. So that's a way that you can actually connect. So I really would try to use LinkedIn as your online Rolodex. Social capital. What's the premise behind social capital? Social capital is an investment in social relations with expected future returns. I cannot tell you how many times I have sat in my office and said to students, alumni, you need to network. Networking is so important, okay? And social media has made this even easier for us to do and to stay in contact with people. The one thing I would like to say is that social media has not taken away the importance of still having one-on-one conversations with people. It's just an added tool, okay? It's an added way that we can now communicate, stay connected with more people than we ever could before. But having those one-on-one conversations is important too. So if you can take those online connections and turn them into in-person connections, then your social network is going to be that much stronger. So, importance of social capital. It facilitates the flow of information, sharing information with one another. Social ties may exert influence on people who play critical roles in decision making. Obviously, as you know, putting a word in carries a certain weight in the decision-making process. If someone at Google says to you, I know someone, I think maybe you should think about them for this job, does that carry a weight?
Absolutely.
So it's important, right? So it matters. It brings your resume up to the top of the pile. It may not get you the job, you still got to interview, right? But it might make it so that they actually do interview you. Social capital reinforces identity as well as social credentials. So LinkedIn, degrees of separation. Those of you who don't know, first degree of separation. That means I know someone directly. Second degree, I know someone and they know someone that maybe I want to talk to, okay? I find that both first and second degree connections on LinkedIn are really helpful. Third degree, that means I know someone and they know someone who knows someone. Wow, that's a little far off, okay? Does it work sometimes? It can work. I have seen it work, but it's a little harder to get that to work. So what to do on LinkedIn. So these are just some real general suggestions for you. Never use that generic message to connect with someone. I hate it when I get that, okay? It means that you didn't have the time or the thought to actually put in a message to me telling me why you want to actually connect to me. So write them a nice personal note. That's really important. Don't just link with anyone. There needs to be some kind of connection. So don't just say, I want to connect to you and have no reason, okay? And there is a reason for this is because you only have 6 times to be rejected. After that, you may lose privileges from LinkedIn, okay? So on that note, don't also never actually hit the I don't know this person button, because then you're one of the people who are now making it so that person might get rejected later on. It's better to just use the archive button if you don't know that person and don't want to connect to them for some reason. Don't have an unfilled out profile page. Would you actually submit a resume that wasn't filled out? No, right? So why on earth would you put something up online and then have it look bad for everyone to see? So make sure to fill out your profile. It should be 100% complete. Don't say you don't know anyone. You guys all know people. Everyone knows someone in this room. And you will be surprised that once you find one person on LinkedIn that you know, you're going to find 10 more people that you know that you didn't even think about who you can connect to. Create a group. So develop relationships, share information, and answer questions. Let's just say that you have a topic that you're really interested in. Create a LinkedIn group. Like Raphael actually created the social media LinkedIn group, right? It's hard when it starts because you're having a conversation with yourself because no one's part of your group yet. I've been part of this before, all right? But then after a while, if you can start getting people on there talking and having discussions, then you are actually the owner of the group, and it's a really powerful tool. I created a group called the Career Counselor Technology Forum about maybe a year and a half ago, and right now I have 480 members of the group. And when I started, it was just me. Hello, Nancy, how are you today? And then started posting interesting articles that only I apparently read. And now we have lots of people who are reading and they're posting, and I actually don't have to post much anymore at all because now the group is really flourishing. So don't just ask for jobs and favors. This is the most important piece of networking. If you can't remember this, anything else from this presentation, please remember this. Spread your connections, but also give more than you take. If you can give information online, then people are going to want to give you information back, okay? If you do a favor for someone, then they're going to want to do a favor back for you. That's how networking works. That's how you can really build on your social capital. So professional development. Professional development is the advancement of skills, knowledge, or expertise for professional growth through continued learning. This is actually something that I created from reading many different professional development definitions. Social media, a group of internet-based applications that allows the creation and exchange of user-generated content, facilitating the sharing of knowledge and expertise and ideas. So what happens when you put these two together? Okay, the goal here is to create a powerful online community, and you're going to do that through communication. Building a stronger LinkedIn community. You're going to share interesting articles, okay? If you read something, share it online, as well as encourage others to join groups that you find interesting. You all have a great deal of knowledge. Make sure to share it with one another and learn from each other. Ask and answer questions. So it's great to ask questions, but if you can answer questions on occasion, that's also great. And then actively engage in conversations online. Time. This is, yes. So time. Okay, so time is the #1 thing I hear. I don't have time for this. I can't possibly be using all these social media tools. How am I ever going to do all this? So if you haven't heard of this yet, Hootsuite is a great way to combine Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. This is what I use, and you can actually send a post out so that you're using it. You're actually sending it to all 3, 4 of these sites at the same time. This is a great way to save time, right? So you can be communicating on all of those sites instantaneously. Is anyone using Hootsuite? Anyone? No. So this is a great tool. Using these tools? Right. I think that I probably spend about maybe 20 minutes to a half hour. Maybe. I think of it as now email. Okay, so how much time do I spend answering email? Gosh, I probably spend an hour, hour and a half doing email a day, maybe longer. So when I think about social media, 20, 30 minutes, it's really not that much time. And it's just a way of doing it more efficiently. So if you can use something like Hootsuite to then be sending it out to all of these at the same time, you're going to be saving yourself time because you don't have to log into 3, 4 different sites. Any other questions about time? How to save time on social media? And the one thing I would say is don't feel like you have to do it all at once, okay? So you don't have to do LinkedIn now, Facebook now, Twitter now, and do everything all at the same time. Because if you do it all at the same time, you are going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be like, wow, why am I doing all this? This is ridiculous. So just take on one thing. Take on LinkedIn first, okay? If you're trying to develop your professional image, LinkedIn is a great place to start. So I don't want to take up too much time here because I want to leave enough time for Jeff to speak. So the missing link. So what we should now understand, there's so much, and I'd be happy to answer any of you guys your questions afterwards because I could continue to talk about this endlessly, all right? But we should understand what is the benefit of using social media and why, how to implement social media into our daily lives. However, note the implementation is often the missing link to integration, all right? So if you think, wow, I want to do that, but you don't actually go out and do these things, then it's not actually going to happen, right? So your task today, I'm going to ask all of you, is to make sure to leave here and use implementation by becoming an active social media user. And what does that mean? Again, take one small step at a time. If you make this happen, you will gain access to a new way of connecting and helping you grow professionally. Remember that you're all experts, you know something, and you should be sharing it with others. Share your knowledge with others using social media and help build a powerful online community. And if you need to contact me, you can follow me at Nancy Richmond. And this is my LinkedIn address, and then just richmond@mit.edu is how you can reach me.